Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. This might be the end of the actual set review or set leaks for Modern Horizons 3. After this, we can start getting into commander decks and other random things. So let's hope this is the end because, boy, we've already seen a lot. So without further ado, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe. Get to 1,000 subscribers. It's giveaway time. So here we go. Lots of commons. We have Aether Spike. We've already seen that one. It's a blue and 1. You can choose to counter a target spell. Or choose target spell. You get 2 energy. You may pay any amount of energy. Counter that spell unless the opponent pays 1 color for each energy. Good for the energy decks. We have Electrozoa. Blue and 2 for a 3/1 Flash Flyer. Already good. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. Beginning of your pre-combat main phase. Tap it unless you pay 1 energy. So 3 mana, get energy, block, let it die. Seems fine. Hope Eater, Kotal, Kotal. Blue and 2 for a 2/2 Devoid Flasher. When you cast this spell, counter target spell unless this opponent pays 1. Very interesting. Probably pretty good, not gonna lie. Sage of the Unknowable. Blue and 1 for an 0/4. Tap for a colorless mana. Spend only to cast colorless spells or activate an ability. Decent commons. Shrieking Drake reprint. Who would have thought that happened? 1 blue for a 1/1 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature controlled its owner's hand. Not the best reprint. We've already got a white card that does that, and he gets +1/+1 to do it. But hey, this is in blue, and it's a thing. Yeah. We have Unfathomable Truths. A blue and 4 for a Devoid spell that's an instant that lets you draw 3 cards and create an Eldrazi you can sack for 1 mana. So it's kind of rebate. So kind of 3 mana draw 2. Limited all-star. Cursed Marauder, black and 1 for a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a non-token creature. That's really good. Not gonna lie there. Arcbound Condor, 2 black and 2 for an 0/0. It has flying and modular 3, so it comes with 3 counters on it. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 till end of turn. Plus, it has modular, which means those +1/+1 counters will go on to one of your other things when this thing dies, if you have other things. Hopefully you have other things. But limited all-star here, 4 mana, 3/3 flyer that pumps the team when it dies. Plus, gives -1/-1 and the possibility to kill other stuff when you lay artifacts. Seems like an all-star to me, especially in limited. Probably a pretty good commander, too. Breathe Your Last. 2 black and 1. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. You gain 1 life for each of its colors. Great removal spell. I mean, hello. A better murder? Anyone? That's going to be an all-star in limited. Dream Drinker Vampire, black and 1 for a 2/1 lifelinker. Already pretty good. It has a black 1 to adapt 1, so it gets a +1/+1 counter. Whenever it gets a +1/+1 counter, 1 or more, it gains menace till end of turn. I mean, it's fine. It's whatever. It's limited. Fetid Gargantua, black and 4 for a 4/4. Already all right. For a black and 2, it adapts 2, which puts 2 counters on it, make it a 6/6. Whenever the counters go on it, you draw 2 cards. If you do, you lose 2 life. Great for limited. That's really probably it. Nadier's Nightblade, black and 2 for a 1/3 elf. Whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. You gain 1 life. Here's another card for aristocrats in the older formats and in Commander. And it's black, and it's an elf. Lots of possibilities here. This uncommon for 3 is probably going to be pretty popular. Next, we have the Refurbished Familiar, a black and 3 for a 2/1 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. For each opponent who can't, you draw a card. Plus, it has affinity for artifacts, so you can lay it for 1 black. This is going to be a great common in Pauper. It'll be okay in Commander. It is a rat and a zombie, so it seems really good. We have Retrofitted Transmogrant, black. 1 black for a 1/1 that for a black and 3, you can return it from the graveyard to the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Seems pretty sweet. We have Wither and Bloom, not Witherbloom. Black and 1 instant target creature gets -3/3 to end of turn. For a black and 1, exile it from your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, activate only as a sorcery. Fine for commander, probably really good, honestly, for Pauper. We have Fanged Flames, red and 1 devoid. Does 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that creature or planeswalker would die, you exile it. Oh, that seems really good. Especially for Pauper. Lots of good Pauper cards. Fledgling Dragon, 2 red and 2 for a 2/2 flyer. Threshold, as long as you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, it gets +3/+3 and gets fire breathing. 1 red, +1/+0. Basically it's a 4 mana 2/2 unless you have 7 cards in your graveyard, then it becomes a Shivan. So great card for limited. Infernal Captor, red and 3 for a 3/3 with exploit. If you exploit a creature when it comes into play, gain control of target creature, artifact, or creature until end of turn. Untap that permanent. It gains haste till end of turn. This is fine for limited for a sneak attack. Or if you manage to steal your opponent's creature for 1 turn, this isn't red, which has other red spells that do that. You can then cast this and then exploit their creature, then steal another creature and proceed to beat face. Anyway, Inventor's Axe. This ought to be good. 1 red equipment with flash. Enters a battlefield, you get 2 energy. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to the creature you control. That creature gets +2/+0. It takes energy to equip it after that. I'm going to be honest, 1 red for +2/+0 is going to be great in Pauper. You can equip it once, basically for free, no cost of mana. After your creature dies that you attach it to, and it has flash, this seems really good. Meteoric Mace, 2 red and 4. Equipped creature gets +4/+0, has trample, equips for 4, and has Cascade. Holy cow. This is going to be a commander all-star. Next we have Molten Gatekeeper, red and 2 for a 2/3. Whenever creature enters the battlefield under your control, Molten Gatekeeper deals 1 damage to each opponent. It also has Unearth for 1 red. Holy cow. Phyrexian Ironworks, red and 2. Whenever you attack, get an energy. Hello. Tap, pay 3 energy, create a 3/3 golem. That's permanent. Just keep it forever. Also, free energy by swinging. This is going to be phenomenal. We have the Saprodum Simulacrum. I can't even pronounce that. 1 red for a 1/1 haster. For a red and 3, you can sacrifice it and deal 4 damage to a creature. This seems really good for limited. Beats face early game and then kills something late game. We have Siege Smash, red and 1. Instant with split second. Destroy an artifact or +3/+2 and gains trample. Split second on a common of all things. Wow. Gonna be a powerhouse, and this is definitely gonna be a Pauper powerhouse. It just stops everything because you can't do anything about it. It's really good. Next, we have the Smelted Charge Bug, a red and 1 for a 1/3 with menace. Enters the battlefield, get 2 energy. Whenever it attacks, you can pay an energy. If you do, another target attack creature is +1/+0 and gains menace. I think we're just making energy with this thing. I don't think we really care about anything else. Thriving Skyclaw. I think we've seen this one. Red and 2 for a 3/2 flyer. Enters the battlefield, get 3 energy. If you attack, you can pay 3. If you do, put a counter on it. So, I think it's just good creatures going to generate energy for you. Void Pouncer, red and 1 for a 3/1 devoid with kicker, 2 colorless, and 1 waste mana. If it was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters, a trample counter on it, and it has haste. There's a lot of stuff. Fine common for limited. Annoyed Ultrasaur. Pretty sure this is a reprint. 2 green and 5 for a 6/5 with Cascade, Reach, and Trample. Because that just seems fair. Yeah, it's fine. Perfectly fine. Moving on, we have the Eldrazi Repurposer, green and 2 for this 3/3 devoid. Whenever you cast this spell, and whenever it dies, you get an 0/1 Eldrazi. Cheap mana reps, great in limited, so this is probably going to be an all-star. Plus 3 mana, 3/3 in limited is just fine. Gift of the Viper, 1 green, put a +1/+1 counter, a reach counter, and a death touch counter on a creature and untap it. It's going to be a hell of a combat trick for limited, so be careful out there, because this was going to get you killed. Well, it's going to get your creatures killed, and then it will kill you. But anyway, We have Horrific Assault for 1 green sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. If you control an Eldrazi, you gain 3 life. It's a 1-mana fight spell. Who the hell cares about having Eldrazi? I mean, it's just a bonus. You'll gain 3 life. I'm sure it'll be relevant at some point to somebody. But at the end of the day, 1 green, kill your shit. Don't get much better than that. Malevolent Rumbler, green and 1 for a sorcery. Reveal top 4 cards of your library. Put a permanent card from among them in your hand. Rest into the graveyard and make an 0-1 Eldrazi. Nothing like a little mana ramp and card fetch. Anyway. We have Nightshade Dryad, green and 1 for a 1/2 Death Toucher that taps for waste mana or 1 mana of any color. The best of mana dorks. I mean, if it was 1 mana, it'd be a mythic, let's be honest. But even at 2, this thing is the bomb. Propagator Drone, green and 1 for a 2/2 Devoid. Creatures you control have Evolve. Oh, God. For a green and 3, you can make an 0-1 Eldrazi. It sacks for mana. In case you didn't know, Evolve is when a creature is bigger enters the battlefield. Any creature smaller than that gets +1/+1 counter, and that's power or toughness, which makes this thing a 1-man army because you can spit out a bunch of 1/1s, lay 1 creature, now you got a bunch of 1/2s. Then lay another creature, and you got a bunch of 2/3s. And shit just gets out of hand from there. Next, we have Wing It. God, I love it. White and 1 instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 to end a turn and a flying counter. And you scry 1. Limited All-Star. We have the Solistic Zealot. White and 2 for a 2/3. It enters, gives 2 energy. Tap, pay an energy to tap a creature. Not the best thing in the world, but it will give you energy. And a 3-mana 2/3 is not the worst thing in the world. And the ability to tap a creature could win the game, so it's good. Rosecott Knight, white and 4 for a 3/4 Vigi. Whenever it enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or enchantment card from among them, put it in your hand, rest on the bottom of your library in random order. If you didn't put a card in your hand this way, put a +1/+1 counter on the knight. And it's fine for limited. Proud Pack Rhino. Look at that fella. That's how I pack my car when I move. Anyway, white and 2 for a 3/3. It enters the battlefield, you get to choose one. You put a shield counter on a permanent or proliferate. Both obscene, because if you've got more than one of these, you put a shield counter on something, and then you proliferate and put another shield counter on it. This 3-mana 3/3 is going to be bomb and limited, and maybe, well, definitely going to see some commander play, but this thing's just way too good. Muster the Departed, a white and 2 enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying, and then Morbid. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, you get to populate, which makes more of your 1/1 dudes. Which is fine, I guess. Good for limited. Probably gonna be really good in Commander, to be honest with you. It's only 3 mana. It lets you populate if shit goes to the graveyard. Like, seems good. Jolted Awake. I think we've talked about this one. 1 white sorcery. Choose up to 1 target artifact or creature card in your graveyard. You get 2 energy. Then you pay amount of energy equal to the card's mana value. If you do, return it to the graveyard of the battlefield. And it has cycling. Now, it says if you do. So this can be just 1 white, make 2 energy, which may just be fine. Just putting that out there. We have the Inspired Inventor, a white and 2 for this 2/2. He enters the battlefield. You get 3 energy, or put a 1/1 counter on a creature, which could be him, which would make him a 3/3, or create a 1/1 color servo. This is the most amazing comment I've seen. This is phenomenal. And it's white for some reason. Granted, it's not going to see a whole lot of plays. It is 3 mana, but great and limited, probably in Pauper. Be great for an energy deck if you just need to make energy. Like, it's really good. Indebted Spirit, 1 white for a 1/1. It bestows for a white and 2. It has Afterlife 1, so when this permanent is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you get to make a 1/1 white black spirit token. The enchanted creature that you enchant this with has a +1/+1 and Afterlife. So you have a 1/1, you put this on it. It's now a 2/2, and when it dies, you get this as a 1/1 and Afterlife and all the good horse malarkey. Envoy of the Ancestors, a white and 2. This card has Outlast. Who would have thought? A 2/3 Outlast for a white. Put a +1/+1 counter on your creature. Modified creatures you control have lifelink. Pretty sure this is a reprint or very close to a reprint because I remember something like this in cons that outlasted, had lifelink, and was just a miserable play experience to try to get rid of. Once it got out of hand, it was just fucking out of hand because you start putting counters on all your shit that has outlast or just counters in general. Now all your shit's got lifelink. This thing's going to be just a fucking menace. We have Distinguished Conjurer, a white and 1 for a 1/2. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, gain 1 life. Because we don't have enough shit for Soul Sisters. White and 4, tap, exile another target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. That's interesting, I guess. It's a lot of mana for the ability. But if you want to blink something, I guess it's the way to do it. We have Angel of Ruins, 2 white and 5 for a 5/7 flyer. Enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments. Plus it has plane cycling, so pretty good for limited or commander. Airy Auxiliary, white and 3 for a 3/3 bird soldier with flying. It enters the battlefield, support 2. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 other target creatures. So you only get a 3/3 for 4 if you have nothing else. But if you have other stuff, you can pump it. And like I mentioned with the Outlast guy that gives everything who's modified lifelink, makes this thing a damn disaster. Anyway, Emissary Soulfire, white, blue, and 1. Enters the battlefield, 3 energy. Pay 2. Put an Exalted counter on the creature you control. Oh, we've seen this one, and it's a 1/4. Cyclops Superconductor. Red and blue and 1. So 3 mana for a 2/2 at Prowess. Enters the battlefield, get 3 energy. Whenever it dies, you can pay 3 energy. If you do, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So this is going to be part of a combo deck where someone's going to pump up the jam and then send this bad boy in and then fling it at you once you get to 10. And then pay 3 energy to do 10 and 10. That's how it's going to go down. So you play this on 3, you get 3 energy. After that, you just have to make... I don't know, 7 spells. I know, it's going to be rough. It's going to be hard. But you get in a few times. I mean, you pump this up to 4 or 5, swing. They find a way to kill it. In response, you fling. It gets a prowess again to 7. And then you spade 3 energy. They take another 7. This just seems really good. Lots of shenanigans. Powerhouse and limited and commander. Next, we have the Faithful Watchdog, the goodest of boys. White and green for this 0/0. Has vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it. So it's already a modified creature, which means a problem. Gonna be one of the best commons that we're gonna see probably. Obstinate Gargoyle, white, black, and 1 for a 2/2. It has flying as long as it's modified, and it has persist. So yeah, if it dies, it comes back to the battlefield with -1/-1 counter on it, and then it has one. Then it's a 1/1 flyer. So this is going to be a nightmare in limited. Riddlegate Gargoyle, blue and white for a 2/2 flyer. Enters the battlefield, get 3 energy. God, that's good. Now, whenever you attack, you may pay 2. When you do, target creature you control gains lifelink. Could be relevant. But a 2 mana 2/2 flyer is also great. Gives you 3 energy, even better. We have the Sneaky Snacker, black and blue for a 2/1 flyer. Whenever you draw your 3rd card in a turn, return the Snacker from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Good common. All right, moving right along, we have the Drownyard Lurker, 7 colorless for a 7/7. Vigilance, whenever you cast or cycle it, you get an 0/1 Eldrazi. Cycles for a blue and 2. Great for limited. Cycle it early, get your lands, get it back later, or if you draw it later, now you have a 7/7 and an 0/1 Eldrazi that has Vigilance. Just really good common. Warped Tusker, 7 colorless for a 6/8 with reach. Create an 0/1 again, has green cycling. Nesting Grounds, we talked about this. Taps for a waste mana, or for 1, you can move a counter around, making all your permanents modified so that they get all the modified shenanigans. Luckily, it's only a sorcery, so you can't respond, but still going to be an issue. Next, we have the Snapping Void Claw. I think we've seen this already. Blue, green, and 1. Devoid, it's an Eldrazi turtle because who doesn't need a turtle horror, I guess? Anyway, it's Devoid. It taps for 2 waste mana, which is a lot. For a waste and 3, tap it, draw a card. Hello. This is going to see play in every Eldrazi deck. At least one of, because drawing cards is cool, and so is ramping to play big, nasty Eldrazi's. On turn 3, you play this. On the next turn, you lay a land. You have 6 mana. You're now making the big nappies. So, yeah, this is a thing. Moving on, we have Pinnacle Monk. It's a land creature. It has prowess. It's a 2/2. Enters the battlefield. You return target instant sorcery card from graveyard to your hand, or it comes into play as a red source. Tap for free, 3 life, untapped. I'm gonna be honest with you. This thing's god awful. It's 2 red and 3 for a 2/2. Yes, it's a land that could be a creature later in the game. Honestly, though, if you get in a format other than standard, if you get to 5 mana and you have to play this for a creature, you are already losing. Like, this is so slow. This is honestly one of the lands that's just not worth having. Yeah, you get instants and sorceries back, but I mean, who cares? Like, God, this is just not good. Moving on, next we have Arena of Glory. Oh, Hazoret up there hanging out. This is a land, enters the battlefield tap unless you control a mountain. It taps for a red tap, and exerting it, you can add 2 red. If that mana is spent on a creature spell, it gains haste. This is going to be popular in older formats. I'm just going to put that out there. Seems really good, and seems really powerful. I mean, it's a soul land to a degree. Yeah. Well, it takes a red and tapping it, so I guess it's not a soul land because you only break even on mana. But the haste, that's probably a thing. Maybe, sort of, kind of. I mean, it is Amulet Titan. You can always run one of these, and shit gets ugly quick. Anyway, moving on. Next, we have the Cursed Wombat, because what other kind of wombat would there be? Black and green for this 2/3. It adapts for 2 for a black, green, and 2, which would make it a 4/5. Permanents you control have whenever you put one or more +1/+1 counters on it, put an additional one. So technically, it would be a 5/6. It only triggers once each turn. So for 6 mana, you get a 5/6 that doesn't fly. And it's 2 colors. Just play Mahamodi Gens. Just better. So, personal opinion, take it for what you will. So guys, with that being said, that's all the cards for today, and hopefully we're done with the main set. We'll start getting into some Commander stuff later. So until next time, be kind, and as always, I hope to see you across from the game table.